Hello and welcome once again to our podcast, Three Guys and a Bible. This is Season 1, Episode 7. And we'd like to thank you for joining us and ask you to go ahead and press that follow button. And, of course, feel free to share this podcast with friends. We'd greatly appreciate that. And this week, someone suggested that we talk about what does a pastor do during the week. Now, they obviously see us on Sunday morning, and from there, a lot of people just have that question. What do you guys do during the week?
And that, of course, was Ken, our associate / youth pastor. He's the only one with a / truly in his title, and that's makes him a superhero, I think. I think that's what that does. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but
those slashes would be a lot for us too.
Though. Would be, I don't know where that.
That's the only official slash.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I can't speak for these two, but I mean, I really only work for about 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Truthfully, on a Sunday morning, I stand up in front of folks for about somewhere between 30 and 45 minutes, and that's kind of my whole deal. The rest of the week, I don't know.
Probably David works the most because on Sundays I'm only up there for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Some Sundays not even at all. I mean,
sometimes they ask me to do that part.
He loves doing the
David did great last week.
Yeah.
Announcement coordinator is also in David's title job description. So what's funny is I actually had a large hand in writing both of your job descriptions and what all you do throughout the week. But even those don't begin to touch what all God actually has us doing. And, wherever you're at, wherever you're listening from, we know you don't necessarily go to our church. That's fine. What we want to do is just kind of maybe open your eyes to what your pastor does at your church. They might do the same things we do or more even, depending on their context and the size of the church and things like that. A lot of people might think, well, the bigger the church, the more a pastor is responsible for. And I might argue that it's actually the opposite. The smaller the church, the more that the pastor is actually responsible for. Our jobs get entwined in everything around the church, and so we just thought we'd kind of go through each of our positions and kind of just some of the things that we do, having to do with our positions and not so much around the church. So, David, go ahead. Tell them. Let's talk about the worship pastor position. I'm sure Chris Tomlin and Phil Wickham, I'm sure they're listening right now and like, oh yeah, I do that at my church. Definitely. Brandon Lake, I'm sure he does the same exact things at his church.
Yeah, as a worship pastor at a church of less than or around 200, I get to do a lot of things. First off, I spend every morning in prayer and some scriptures readings, obviously. But on Monday, I come in and I get to edit the videos from Sunday to make sure those are the best possible audio and visual for whoever's going to watch it that week that missed on Sunday or that wants to listen again, because sometimes things can be distracting in service. I type in the sermon notes the same day and type in the song lyrics, so everybody at the church has that distraction-free experience of Sunday morning as much as possible. At least things happen.
It does, but both of those things you just mentioned, the online thing, that's not new to the world, if you will, but since COVID, that has become a vital part. And I don't know how many people in recent times we've had visit, and they're only visiting because they've watched us online and they liked something. God spoke to them somehow and brought them here. So that's a huge part of that ministry, the audio-visual side of the ministry. And we've all been to churches before where the slide comes up and the words are wrong, or it's even typos, some people pick out, and it can be a distraction. Absolutely.
Then everybody turns around and stares at the audio booth because obviously
it could have been the guy that could have been me. It could have been my fault.
Yep.
And I design the website, and I get to make all the social media designs and posts each week, and I'm hoping that we continue to keep growing in that. We've had a lot of people kind of start sharing recently. Finally,
we have
working on that.
We have. I need to check those Facebook numbers again. Last week I looked at them. I told David, we have 1,000 followers on Facebook, which for a church this size, a small community like this. That's incredible. So thank you to all of you that have followed us there on Facebook. But those things do make a difference. All those different ways of getting information out and sharing with people.
And then obviously I have a lot of volunteers. I have an amazing team of tech and the band. Man, I'm so blessed in this church. But I get to schedule them, and luckily they're all very reliable and flexible, so it makes my job pretty easy. And then I choose songs for that Sunday. I mean, I choose them a month in advance usually, but I just feel that I try to choose songs that will first off touch Jesus' heart, but also that the congregation can relate to, and they can sing and glorify Him on Sunday that in a way that maybe they haven't before. I get to plan the events the team does. Man, like this team we're very community driven. We really want to preach the gospel and sing to Him and just show the love of Jesus to those around us. We've done events like Route 40 Fest every year, thanks to our guy Josh Alsop. He's always helping us out, be able to do that. The Banks of the Wabash and Gospel Night every year. We love to do that. We get to do worship nights here at the church. We get invited to Torch House events over in Terre Haute. We love to do that. We get to do youth camps at Ileana and other camps. It's been a blessing the last 4 years to doing that. And just churches that may not have a band, they ask us to come play for some of their special events, and that's just awesome because not every church is as fortunate as we are, honestly.
Yep.
In that aspect.
It's awesome to get to go and share.
Yeah.
With others. You didn't mention your favorite thing yet, David.
I don't know.
Climbing tall ladders.
Oh yeah.
To move lights and projectors.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. My first week here, I wasn't going to tell Chris I'm terrified of heights, but I had to climb an 18-foot ladder.
I don't know what it is. It's tall.
It was a very tall ladder, and I had to paint a ceiling. My first week here, and I did it without complaining because.
And didn't die.
No, I didn't. I was okay. Actually, I've kind of grown out of my fear of heights in a way.
Yeah.
I'm used to it now.
Yeah. I've been all over the ceiling here in this sanctuary.
Yes, I'm thankful for Chris and that.
Taking stuff down.
Putting up TVs.
Oh, wait, no, I'm only 35 minutes on Sunday. Never mind.
Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah, hanging TVs. We've done a little of that, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Technology-related things, for sure. Ken, what about your world? What does a week of ministry look like in the associates? Well, let's go associate first. Let's put on that hat. Would you make sure you speak in the associate voice?
I got on my official associate pastor hat. Yeah. Well, as the associate pastor, I oversee all of the missions that our church does. Some of those are worldwide, and some of them are local. And so what I do is I work with our local food pantry here at our church. I have three or four great volunteers that have stepped up and taken the lead in that. And really what I do is I just oversee it. I'm not in charge of it. I don't usually work on those. I just have people that have stepped up to be leaders of that mission, and the food pantry is one of them, helping unload all the food that they bring back to pass out to the people of our community, and just solving any problems that they might have. And we have a mission over in Poland, the country Poland, and
yes, not the town Poland,
not the town Poland,
Clay
just
County,
to make sure, yeah,
the actual country.
And so I have actually been to Poland to that youth camp. It's a great youth camp. Have met the overseer of that in Poland. He's actually been here to our church, came here one time and spoke, and just a great guy. And then just meeting with the leaders of our local missions that we do here, having lunch with them, seeing what their needs are, seeing how we can be praying for them or funding them financially if they have a specific need. And then another part of my job is just visitations, whether someone is sick or they've just had surgery. I go visit them, and our official office hours are 9 to 2, and very seldom do we actually work 9 to 2, and so it's always past that. And so that's just a great part, and I look at all this, and I oversee certain budgets for the church that feed into the whole budget of the church, and I have to keep track of those. And as I look at these jobs, quote unquote jobs that I do, I don't consider any of it work. And I used to be in the commercial side of life before I came here and became a quote unquote full-time pastor. And man, there's not one day that I pull in and go, I'm back at work.
Yeah.
Not one day has that happened. And to be honest, in my previous life, before becoming a full-time pastor, there were days where I would pull in and think, well, the place hasn't burned down, so I guess I'll go clock in.
Yeah.
And that's the tip of the iceberg. Ken's got people stopping by throughout the week. He meets virtually every week with the leaders of the food pantry and the other leaders on the missions team. We have a fairly sizable benevolence fund here at the church that we use to help people in the community. And so he, again, doesn't make those decisions, but he's kind of the go-between between all of the people that do make those decisions and how we're able to help people. And the food pantry ministry is gotten really large. I mean, the number of people that it's serving has grown exponentially since it first started. We're up to between 500 and 600 people a month.
Yeah.
Most months
Yeah.
that they're not just giving food to, but praying with every single person that comes in, and those people have started attending church as well and becoming part of our family here. It's an incredible thing. Now, my favorite part of Ken's job description is I might have mentioned I had a hand in writing that, is the last item on that job description. What's that say? I don't remember exactly.
I think it says everything else the senior pastor doesn't want to do.
No.
That's not the exact wording.
I don't think that's the exact
I think it
wording.
might say all other duties as assigned.
Something like that. Yeah, something like that. I actually don't pass off things that I don't want to do. It's true.
That is true. Usually you are right there beside me on whatever project it was. I think my first week, I think it was my second day, David, going back to your first week. My first week, I had my arm elbow deep in a drainage.
I remember that.
I don't know what you would call this thing, a drainage thing where something wasn't
we were
draining.
working on a sump pump.
Yeah. And so I was digging out black muck, and I was, honestly, that's probably the most I've prayed in my life, that there was nothing in there that would bite, that it would just be dirty slime I was pulling out.
Yep. No, there was not. No, just a sump pump we had to replace. Old church basement sump pump, and just part of the fun. So Ken also has a whole different hat that he wears as our youth minister here, in charge of the junior and senior high ministries. And so, what do you do? I mean, youth ministers, well, they really don't do anything.
No, we just play with the kids. That's what everybody thinks. Yeah, play with the kids and tear up the church.
that's the job description.
That is youth ministry.
Who broke that? Was youth ministry here? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's got to be the youth minister. Yeah, youth ministry, man. I tell you what, I've done youth ministry since the 1900s. It is just a deep, passionate gift and love that God has given me for the kids. Got to baptize one last Sunday, and man, what a great honor that is for me to be a part of that. To hear a child, a student professing their faith in Jesus Christ and really understanding what that means, and then following Him in baptism. What a great honor that was. I spend a lot of my time preparing for Sunday night when our youth ministry meets for an hour and a half to 2 hours. And so I spend a lot of time during the week preparing for that. Preparing I call it a Bible lesson, because if you tell a kid they're going to hear a sermon, they automatically kind of put up some walls. But we just have discussions about the Bible, and we dive deeper into that. And that's what this whole last series, this last session that we've had has been, is just about the Bible. And so I spend a lot of time preparing for Sunday night, making sure the lesson is prepared, making sure the food is going to be purchased and ready to go for the kids. And I do part of the social media, where I thank Chris and David for that, because I don't do new technology. You know what?
You've learned a lot, though.
Well, thank you.
And you're willing to learn, which is great.
Yeah, I tried to do
we
that.
We have converted him to
Mac,
the light.
Now I had okay, so I'm starting to do more and more social media. Check out our Facebook page. Anything with BLAST, which is our youth ministry, our student ministry, which stands for Building Lives Around Sound Truths, and that's what we're working on here. Now, oddly enough, part of my youth ministry job this week, I met with the Indiana Department of Transportation. And most people wouldn't believe that, but that's what I did. And one of our youth ministry projects that we do are called compassion projects, because, as we look at the people in our community, we want to look at them with compassion. We want to look at them just the way Jesus did. And it says, Jesus saw the people. Not that he noticed them, but he actually saw them for who they are. And so we do different compassion projects, and I make arrangements to do those. We went to an assisted living facility and just hung out with some of the residents. We played some games with them, shot pool with one of them. He was a hustler. He kind of suckered the kids in on that one, but he was a hustler. And so it's just a great part of my job doing youth ministry.
Got a mission trip coming up this summer.
We have a great mission trip coming up. We're going to be up in Indy. Yep. Organizing that, collecting all the money for that, and keeping track of that. On the associate pastor side, we've got a great men's trip planned, going over to see the world famous Cincinnati Reds. Hopefully, we will pull out of last place in the division, and we'll get back up at the top. And
they're consistently losing right now.
They are consistent.
Losing.
Yeah, they are. They are running neck and neck with the St. Louis Cardinals for last place.
I wonder if you get like a refund on the price we already paid for tickets, because the ticket prices will be going down sometime soon. So
No, because their record is going to go better.
It's going to go back up.
Yeah.
Okay. Right,
this is how they lull the Major League Baseball to sleep. They come out slow and they hit it hard at the end.
And they battle back.
Yeah. So it goes back to those budgets, keeping track of the money, making sure it's going right, working with the missions trips for the students as well as the adults.
Now there's and so really, I mean, those guys do it all. That leaves me with pretty much nothing left to do on my plate. So I'm grateful for all of their hard work, so I can do my 35 minutes on a Sunday. No, that's a joke people always said, and there probably are some pastors that might not do much more. I suppose that's possible.
I would agree with that.
But God didn't quite wire me that way, so I might have my hand in too many things. That's always a possibility too, but I dabble in a little bit of everything, from the hospital visits to the technology side and helping fix things that are broken. And I have kind of stopped doing any kind of plumbing around the church. The last time I tried to fix a toilet, I had a heart attack later that day. So I've kind of stopped doing the plumbing.
That was Megan's first day.
Yeah, that was Megan's first day. So
we all have trauma from our first week here.
I've painted. I've been on scaffolding and hung lights and cleaned gutters and built roofs and all those kinds of things. But that's because God asks us to serve. He doesn't tell us specifically what to do. If there's an opportunity to help out, then man, we should. Prayer is a big part of all of our jobs, obviously, and I don't mean it as it's a job. I mean it's something that we do as a part of the ministry. I don't think I'm ever in the car driving anywhere when I'm not thinking about someone from church, or someone that I know is, maybe it's a friend that's in ministry, or somebody. And calling people and visiting people in their homes, like we did this week. Or this afternoon, we all went around town and hung up flyers for our worship in the park coming up. So all of those kinds of things fall under the purview, if you will, of this position. Obviously, I spend some weeks it's 6 hours, some weeks it's 12 hours working on a message. I try really hard. I know how your pastor does it, but I try really hard not to work on this week's message this week. I see people all the time on Saturday. Oh, you got your sermon ready for Sunday? I said, which Sunday? Yeah. I've got Father's Day done. Why? But that's just me. God has me kind of working ahead, and for me personally, I do that. It's a comforting thing, because then I know if anything on earth comes up, I can drop whatever I'm doing and focus on that, and not be like, oh, I don't have this week's sermon done yet. I think it gives me a little more time to just think about it and pray through it and read through it and prepare to present it to everyone. I take the presentation side of the gospel very, very serious. I've said since I entered into ministry that I might only get the chance to speak to someone one time. They may never hear the name of Jesus except for the one time that I get, and so I take that responsibility very seriously. I want God to be able to use me to share that information with whoever might be present on that particular day. So I do that, obviously, each and every week. I'm also an elder here at Berea. The lead pastor is one of the elders as well. So we've got that side of the ministry to think about and pray about and meet and talk about. And as elder, I oversee the other staff as well, and so meet with them regularly. And I always stopping by the office and sharing things and having conversations. And then we do have some meetings from time to time. Most of those are pretty informal and casual, though, because we just have an open line of communication. One of the beautiful things we have going here is that we all chip in and help out everybody. Nobody has an ego and, nope, I'm busy, I'm sitting in my office, don't come bother me. We all just get up at the drop of a hat to help anybody when we need it. It's so crucial in the ministry that we're in to be able to have that chance to help each other out. I'm sure there's lots of other little things. I guess I kind of oversee the church finances as well. Our administrative assistant takes care of paying all the bills and those kinds of things, but I kind of oversee the bigger picture of it and just the overall income and outgo and those kinds of things and try to keep an eye on that. And I wish I didn't have to do that. I'm longing for the day where God just takes care of all that, and He does now. He provides everything that we need. I just got to make sure we're within those margins. But it's just, for me, like Ken, it's a joy to get up every morning and come in and to serve here. I'm genuinely excited to get to work every morning. And spend some time reading through that week's message and spend some time praying and just spend some time alone in the building or in the office thinking through things, seeing what God might have to reveal. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. So if you don't already, pray for your pastors, whatever they're going through throughout the week. Maybe you go to a smaller church and your pastor is bivocational. They have another job. Maybe it's a full-time job, and they do, the ministry on the weekends. And so pray for them, that God would help them with that writing process and getting things ready. It's not an easy process for a lot of people. And so never forget to pray for those spiritual leaders in your life. They're under attack. Absolutely. Satan would love to get a hold of any spiritual leader, because if he can get a hold of them, he can take a whole bunch of people away from the church very quickly. And so, essential.
I think one of the best things about being on staff here at Berea Christian Church is that we each have our responsibilities. I'm kind of like you, Chris. I don't like to call it a job because it doesn't seem like that. I don't like to call it work because it's more of service, is the way I see it. But one of the great things is that each of us know our roles, and we're not checking up on each other. And that's not to say we don't ask each other about, hey, how's this project going? Because we want to know how the projects are going, but it's more of a sense of, how's this project going? How can I help? Do you need it? Do you need me to do something? And what a great thing to be able to say is that not once have I ever asked one of the other staff members or even some of the congregation of, hey, I need help with this. Do you have a minute? And nobody's ever said, no, I'm really way too busy for that. And our congregation makes it easy for us to do our ministry here, because we are backed by such faithful, obedient people.
And our leadership, too.
Sure.
They have entrusted us with these positions and aren't micromanaging, as in some locations. They've entrusted us to do the work God's called us to do. And they too, will offer suggestions and help and things here and there. But, but not always looking over your shoulder. Am I doing it right? Is this okay? And that's important. That's important. Again, don't know your context as you're listening today, but if God has those people in a position, they might need some guidance and encouragement along the way. But let them do what God has them doing. I forgot I put in ceiling fans. That's probably part of my job. I did that. I'm thankful for the ceiling fan in my office. Are you, David? Yeah.
Very thankful you did that.
So replace lots of lights, lots of light fixtures, converting everything over to LEDs.
Closets normally don't have ceiling fans, Ken. So
no, sorry,
Yeah.
Your closet doesn't have the ceiling. I mean, your office doesn't have the ceiling fan.
Nice storage area.
Actually, I think you're in the dining rooms technically.
Yes,
So,
I'm in the official dining room
official
with the
dining
drop
room.
ceiling, and so I can't have a ceiling fan to keep me cool.
No. I did try.
I do have
really did.
I do have a wonderful, whatever that's called,
That tower fan.
Tower
Yes.
fan, yes,
Yep.
yes.
Yeah,
at least you have a window.
Tower
That's
fan.
good.
I do
you
have
have
a
a window
window.
that opens. My windows don't open.
Yeah.
So you got that going for you.
I do have the window that opens, and I one of my jobs is also overseer of the parking lot during the day.
Yeah.
Anybody pulls in the parking lot,
Yep.
I look out and see who it is.
You
Make
got
sure-
the back lot. He's got the front lot. I used to stare at a black van, but thankfully that's gotten moved now. So
Yeah.
so I can see the side of the church.
Yeah.
That's my beautiful view
Yeah.
from my office. But man, I was also in the public sector. Well, David was as well. I was a school teacher, and so working in that environment and transitioning to this, man, just so much more freedom to encourage people and spend time with God in unique ways. I just absolutely love it. Just absolutely love the opportunity. I go into lunch with people. A lot of people, if the pastor called you, right? If your pastor called you right now and said, hey, I'd like to go to lunch, how many of you would freak out immediately? Like, what's the pastor want?
What do you hear? What do you hear?
What do you hear? Did he hear something?
What
What's
do
he
you
need? What's he coming after? No, I tell this to people all the time. Just want to meet with you. Just want to hear your story. How's it going? How's life? Don't have an agenda. If I have an agenda, I'll tell you that. Hey, I need to meet with you about such and such. But that's just a joy. We found out that most people, I don't know the percentage, most people eat lunch.
Yep, I do every day.
Yeah,
Every day.
just about every. Well, I don't.
Sometimes twice.
Sometimes it's true. Ken does eat lunch twice some days, and so it's a great time. It doesn't take any time at anyone's schedule because they're going to eat lunch anyway, and just to meet with them. So take time to meet with your pastor if you get a chance, if they're able to do that kind of thing in their position. I guess the whole point of this conversation was just to expose you to some of the other things, from moving tables and chairs to hanging sound baffles to buying materials for the church or for the big dinner upcoming or whatever it is that we might be involved in, just so you know. Maybe God's calling you to help out with some of those things, take some of those loads off of the pastors at your church. They would appreciate it. Absolutely.
Yep.
Although there's some things that we probably wouldn't give up
Yep.
because we really enjoy doing some of those things, for sure. But most of all, just praying for your pastor. Please don't ever think that they only preach for a few minutes on a Sunday morning or stand up and lead a few songs on a Sunday morning or just share a few announcements or play games with the kids on a Sunday night. If nothing else, our concern for you consumes our entire week.
Absolutely.
Because that's what God's placed on our heart. That's why He's called us to the positions we're in. And so that's why we reach out. That's why we want to meet with you. That's why it pains us when we don't get to see you on Sunday mornings, because a lot of times that's our only chance to interact with you throughout the week. And so it's hard on us whenever we don't get to meet with you on those Sunday mornings. We miss that. So. Trying to think, is there anything else? Not really to add. I'm sure you guys have other thoughts and comments out there. Feel free. You can leave comments on these things. There's even a place, I think there's even a little question that we kind of put with the podcast if you're listening on Spotify. Other places, not so much. But we do post it on Facebook, so you could leave comments there as well. Always looking for ideas of things to talk about. So, hey, I got a question. Pastor, I got a question. Send it in. We'll consider it and look over it and see if it's something that'll fit in this kind of format, or maybe it's a meeting we need to have lunch with you and talk just personally with you about that question, help you try to find some answers to whatever you're going through. But guys, we're good. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for listening to this week. This is the 7th episode, so supposedly this is the perfect episode, right? Number 7. Is that still biblical?
That's
I think it was good.
I think it was
Thought
good.
process.
Okay, all right, that is good.
thought process.
That is good. Feel free, email us anytime. Right now, our address is still chris@bccbrazil.org. That's Chris with a K, K-R-I-S, at bccbrazil.org. Thank you so much for listening. Please, if you didn't listen to Ken earlier, listen now. Subscribe. Like it if your platform gives you a chance to like it. Share it with others. That's how the word spreads. We are 3 guys in the Bible.